Hello there, and welcome to the training centre. Before you can start your adventures on the West Somerset Railway, you will need to learn how to drive Thomas. In this short introduction, you will be taken through every step needed to make sure that Thomas is a really useful engine. And I'm sure you'll be an expert driver in no time. It looks like Thomas is eager to get started, so let's begin.
Hello, driver. I can't wait to get started and show you what a really useful engine I am.
First, you will need to climb aboard. Follow the blue markers in front of you as they will guide you to Thomas's cab steps. Before you can climb the steps, you will need to check if Thomas's cab door is open. If you can see that the cab door is closed, you can open it by first looking at it and then pressing the button shown on the screen. Now that Thomas's cab door is open, you can use the steps to climb up into Thomas's cab. Welcome to Thomas's cab. Here you'll be able to learn the controls needed to drive Thomas. Let's get started by first moving over to the driving position. If you want a better view of your train or the line ahead, you can change between several different external camera views at any time whilst driving. For this introduction, use the controls shown on screen to change to this particular external camera. This is one of several external camera views available to you. You can switch between this view and the internal cab view at any time by pressing either of the controls shown here. Would you like to switch back to the internal cab view, or keep using the external camera? To drive Thomas forwards, you will need to use the throttle. Press and hold the control shown on screen to increase the throttle and get Thomas moving. Well done. You're doing a good job so far. To slow Thomas down, or when you want to come to a stop, you will need to apply the brakes. Use the control shown on screen to apply the brakes and bring Thomas to a stop on the blue marker. Annie and Clarabelle are waiting in the sidings behind you, and you must collect them before heading to the station. In order to reach Annie and Clarabelle, you will first need to switch the junction so that it is set to the correct track. You can set the junction by either using the route map or climbing down out of the cab and walking over to it. Great work! You can now go and couple to Annie and Clarabelle. Make sure that as you approach them, you lower your speed and come to a stop as close as possible to them to ensure that they couple successfully. To make Thomas reverse, press and hold the control shown here until Thomas starts moving backwards.
Hello, Annie. Hello, Clarabelle.
Hello, Thomas. Well done. You're now ready to head to the station. When you're ready to continue, use the throttle to apply some power to drive Thomas forwards. Nearing the station now, so remember to slow down and come to a stop at the platform. To allow the passengers to climb aboard, you will first need to open the passenger doors, using the control shown on screen. Well done. It looks like all of the passengers have boarded now, so you can go ahead and close the passenger doors by using the control shown here. It looks like you're ready to continue to the next station. Use the throttle once again to apply some power to get Thomas moving. remember to slow down and come to a stop at the platform. Good work. Now open the passenger doors to allow the passengers to start boarding. Splendid work. It looks like you and Thomas will make a great team, and I'm certain you will be an expert driver in no time. If you'd like to learn how to drive Thomas again, you can return to the training centre at any time to replay this tutorial. It was a warm summer's evening on the West Somerset Railway, and Thomas the Tank Engine was waiting at Dunster Station. He and Sir Topham Hatt had been invited to visit the railway and were on their way to Minehead for a big welcome.
I can't wait to get to Minehead Station and meet everyone, said Thomas excitedly. You said you had a friend that worked on this railway, didn't you, sir?
Yes, Thomas, I have, replied Sir Topham Hatt. Mr. Peters and I have been friends for a long time, and I'm sure you'll get to meet him once we reach Minehead. And I know he's very keen to finally meet you, especially after I told him how useful you are.
Thank you, sir, puffed Thomas proudly. Although I do hope my branch line back on Sodor will be all right without me. I'm sure my passengers will miss their regular train rides.
I'm sure your passengers will be fine, Thomas. There's no need to worry about your branch line, chuckled Sir Topham Hatt. I've arranged for Percy and Toby to look after it while you're away. Bertie said he'll lend a hand too.
Thomas smiled, thinking about his friends back home.
Right then, he continued. Let's get going. We don't want to keep everyone waiting. And with that, Sir Topham Hatt walked down the platform and climbed aboard Annie.
Yes, sir, peeped Thomas. Minehead, here we come. I wonder what kind of jobs I'll get to do here,
wondered Thomas.
I do hope we get there soon. I can't wait to get started.
Yes, it
It'll be nice to finally arrive, said Annie sleepily. I don't know about you, Clara, but I'm rather looking forward to a nice long rest after our long journey here. Yes, Annie, it'll be nice to finally rest my wheels for the night. You should get some rest too, Thomas. You don't want to be tired tomorrow, do you? But I'm too excited. There's going to be a party tomorrow night to welcome us to the railway, and I want to make a good impression and show everyone that I'm a really useful engine, especially as we've come all this way. We understand, sympathised Annie. But as Clarabelle said, you don't want to end up being tired and running late on your first day. Despite his excitement, Thomas couldn't help but be tired too. It sounds like we're not the only ones who need to rest their wheels, laughed Clarabelle. Well, I suppose I am a little tired, he said wearily. And a good night's rest would be nice before we start work in the morning. The three friends continued their journey towards Minehead, and it wasn't long before they were nearing the station.
As Thomas's train pulled into the station, he looked around and noticed a smartly dressed man standing on the platform. He wondered if this was Sir Topham Hatt's friend, when the man stepped forward and introduced himself. "Hello, and welcome to the West Somerset Railway. You must be Thomas, the famous tank engine I've heard all about. It's great to finally meet you. My name is Mr. Peter, and I must say it's a pleasure to have you here."
"Thank you, sir,"
puffed Thomas.
"I'm excited that we have been given the chance to come and visit your railway, and I can't wait to get started."
"That's what I like to hear," said Mr. Peters. "Sir Topham tells me you're a very hard-working engine, so I'm looking forward to working with you and making sure that you and all our visitors have a great time at the party tomorrow night."
Just then, Sir Topham Hatt walked up. He greeted his friend warmly and started telling him all about Thomas.
"Thomas is one of the most useful engines I know, and I'm sure he'll prove to be a credit to your railway."
"That's wonderful to hear," replied Mr. Peters. "I'm sure that Thomas and I will get on splendidly." Mr. Peters smiled and turned to the crowd of passengers.
"Ladies and gentlemen, I would like you all to give a warm welcome to our visitors from the island of Sodor, Sir Topham Hatt, Thomas, and his loyal coaches Annie and Clarabelle." Everyone clapped and cheered, and Thomas looked on, feeling very proud. But no one noticed that a familiar diesel engine was watching them from afar.